It's getting a little bit dark, but I am at B&Q, so I normally rather go to kind of local independent garden centres, but this is where I'm at today because it's the most convenient place to be, and I'll be honest with you, I'm after terracotta pots and they're probably cheaper here. So let's go in and see what we can find. So I'm trying not to get too much of a soggy bottom. It's the next day and I left everything in the car overnight. So I'll show you the goodies that I bought and let's get on and start using them. The main reason I wanted to go was to get these terracotta pots. So they're a decent size, they're not huge, and I got 8 of those. And I was going to get 8 saucers to go with them. However, what I decided to do, let's just move you out of the way, was to get these instead. And I got 3 of these, and they are plastic but trays, because I figured they're going to be better space use and space saving than if I had the saucers. So the saucers would have looked much nicer, but I decided to go practical. So I've gone for my lovely terracotta, but I've gone for a little bit more practical with the drip trays. And then I couldn't resist. I got 3 packets or trays of these winter pansies. I could not resist this beautiful cyclamen. I mean, the colour's just gorgeous, isn't it? So just for a bit of a winter pop of colour. So as I say, I went with the pots in mind, and I'll show you why I needed those. A little bit of autumn winter colour was kind of in the back of my mind. This was totally not on my shopping list, but I was hooked in. So it's a grow your own hyacinth. It's £8, so they sucked me in. But you know what? Sometimes it's just nice to get a treat, isn't it? So, yeah, grow your own hyacinth, stealth blue in a decorative basket. I don't even think it comes with soil. Oh, it does. It's got those coir. Oh, fair play. I've only just looked, but there's 3 hyacinth bulbs here and 3 of the coir discs, and this really pretty little basket, which is lined. So yeah, actually that's quite good. So I think the idea is that you cram the 3 into one, but what I'm actually probably going to do is I might even plant 3 into 3 different pots. Yeah, so that's actually quite good. A better value than I thought, but as I say, I just saw it and I couldn't resist it. So it's been a long time since you've seen me in this shed. It is still here, and I do pop in from time to time, but not as much as I used to, and certainly not as much as I should. And all that has changed, or is certainly changing. So the reason I wanted to get these terracotta pots is because you may recall I lost all my geraniums over winter. So I normally bring them into the polytunnel, and in years gone by when I used to have a greenhouse, I would take them into the greenhouse, and I've never brought them all into the house. Sometimes I'll take some cuttings and have those in the house, but generally I've overwintered them in a protected area such as a polytunnel or greenhouse and covered them with fleece. But I lost a lot last year, and very kindly, when the lovely Jane and Mike came to visit, they brought me some more, and they're absolutely gorgeous. The lovely red that I adore, and then that gorgeous salmon pink, and they've been absolutely beautiful. And the pink ones are still, you can't see them, they're just in the window box here. So I've got baskets on the shed, I've got the window box here, and then I've got my traditional 3 hanging baskets on the woodshed, which is around by the house and also into the chicken area. So what I'm going to do is I've got 8 of these pots, and if I remember correctly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are in fact 8 plants, because there's 3 in here, and then I think there was 1 in each basket. So there's 2 baskets on here, 3 out there, so that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 8 plants. So I wanted a pot each, and I'm going to take them into the house this year. Now, I don't have a huge amount of space, but I've got an idea of how I can put them in the spare room. So that's what I'm going to be doing this morning. I don't even know what time it is. I've had a bit of a lie-in, which is rare for me. And my watch has run out of battery. And you know, isn't that nice? I don't know what time it is. And do you know what? It doesn't really matter. I'd say if you pushed me, it's probably somewhere between 9 and 10. It's overcast. It was a beautiful, beautiful misty start this morning. The mist was sitting low across the fields, but I snuck back to bed with a book and a cup of tea this morning. Chris was off to work early, so he'd done the beasties, checked they were all okay, and fed Kaylee, and she'd been out for a wee, and she went back to her bed as well. So enough rambling. That's what I want to do, and I've got so I want to do that this morning, and then after coffee time, once I've potted these all up, I may or may not leave them in the polytunnel for a couple of days, or I may take them straight into the house. I haven't decided yet. I need to do a bit of clearing up there, because what I really want to do as well is I'm really looking forward to doing this, and I want to make it a mindful activity. So I must stop my racing ideas, but I've been inspired. I've been collecting little bits and pieces, and I've got a crafty kind of journaling plan that I want to start as well, that I think will really help me through the autumn and winter certainly, but then as an ongoing project, because I've stopped journaling and I really miss it. And I've not been doing as much art, and I really miss that, and this is something that combines the two. However, let's get on and do these geraniums. So I've got myself a cup of coffee. I've collected in all the geraniums. So the tub here that was in the window box, there's 3 baskets from the woodshed, and then there's the 2 baskets still on the shed here, and I'm going to make a start. So I'm going to start with this tub, and then the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the dead foliage off. Now these are still flowering, and I could, to really take the goodness into the plants, I could take all those flowers off as well. But do you know what? I think they'll be quite cheery, won't they? And they've done really well this summer, and they're a nice specimen. They've really developed and grown. So I'm actually going to leave those flowers on. I'm going to let them flower for a few more weeks to bring a little bit of cheer and colour into the house. So I'm just going to take I'm going to take this one off because it's nearly done. So I'm going to take off the really dead ones, the ones that are almost done like this, and then each plant I'm going to get a pot, and I'm going to put a little bit in the bottom for drainage. Then I'll pop some compost in. I've got some compost ready. Pop the geranium in, and a little bit of compost, and I'm going to do that with all 8 of them. And don't they just look gorgeous? There's something about a geranium in a terracotta pot. It's so traditional, isn't it? So I'm going to kick back and have my coffee, and then I'm going to take these into the house. I am going to take them in, partly because there's no room in the polytunnel, and also it'd be nice to complete a project. So I'm going to take them up, and I've got a space in the spare room. There's some space on a windowsill, and then the ottoman that's in front of the window, and I'm going to pop them on there, and they're going to look gorgeous. Now I may move them around the house, but that's where they're going to start. And then once I've done that, I'm going to start this crafty art journal, junk journal journaling project, and I'll take you along with me. So I've got some more coffee, decaffeinated this time, and I've got a big thing of glue. So I've been into my craft drawer and had a good rootle round, because I've been inspired by a few other people that I follow. One is the Unexpected Gypsy. I love watching her journaling, and then she does art journaling, and her artwork is phenomenal. And I know that you shouldn't judge what you do, but you know, she is a professional artist, but she's so inspirational. And I've always loved her journals, but never quite wanted to journal in that manner. And then I've recently seen a couple of shorts, and that's made me click on, and I've seen a couple, some are American, some are in the UK, and some other ideas for this kind of art journaling, junk journaling, and journaling combined. So what I want to do today is make myself one of these junk journals, and then I can use that as an art journal going forward, and you know, put sort of inspirational quotes and how I'm feeling, and just use it as a journal. So journaling is something I've been doing for years, and I've got journals in various forms. Some of them quite personal, so I'm not going to share them. But what I've done is I've gone into the craft drawer that I have, which is what should be the filing cabinet section of my desk, because I love doing arts and crafts, as those of you that follow me will know. So I've kind of got the paintbrushes and some washi tape and bits and pieces in there, and then I've got my just good old PVA glue, so let's put those out of the way. This is a book that I've read and I know I'm never going to read, and I wanted a book. I'm going to find it quite difficult to do this, but I wanted a book to use as part of the journaling, and you'll see that. So it's very rare you'll see me pull a book to pieces, but I know I'm not going to read this again. It was a really good and useful and helpful book. I've offered it out, nobody else wants it. I could put it in a charity shop, but you know what, I'm upcycling it. I'm going to reuse the pages. So yeah, so it's just a book that I read that was useful to me, but I need pages out of that. And then I've got another little book here that I've had for years, and every now and then you flick through it, but actually, again, it's got some lovely little quotes in it, some that will make me laugh or smile, some that are quite close to home. It's the little Keep Calm and Carry On book, good advice for hard times. You can see it's faded and it's battered, and I quite like the fact actually that these pages have gone this nice aged colour, so that's going to be quite useful. And then I've also dragged out a magazine from my pile. So I subscribed to this magazine for a year. I just did a year and I really enjoyed it, and then I stopped the subscription. So I'm looking forward. I've got I've kept the year, and I've read them, and now I'm ready to pull them to pieces and use them. And then in here, I can't even remember what's at the bottom. The bulk of what's in the bottom I intended to make a scrapbook from, with some memories, and never did, and then I've just kind of added to it. This is just an envelope, nothing special about it, but I've just learnt about this junk journaling, and this is exactly the kind of thing you need. And then I've just got cards, and another little envelope there, all the little birthday cards that you keep. I bought these beautiful cards. I may have shown them to you, and I'm not sure yet. They're so nice, but I haven't really anywhere to put them. Even if I framed them, I'm not sure what to do with them. So I popped them in. They're still in their cellophane wrappers. One's called Gardener's Friend, and the other Garden Girls. So obviously there's the chickens in this one and the little robin in this one, and I can't decide yet whether to hold on to them and maybe frame them for the future, or whether they'll get used. But I've popped them in here, and then I've just got postcards and cards, and there's actually some letters in here, and there's some things that are probably not even supposed to be in here. It's something to do, a Vodafone receipt from I don't even know when, that wasn't supposed to be in here, and some other bits and bobs that have ended up on top that are totally irrelevant. But then underneath, and that's not relevant either, those are a couple of old postcards. That's something to do with my Scottish widow's pension. It's a good job I've gone into this, isn't it? Things have got thrown on top. Right, you don't need to see me doing this, but essentially I'm going to get to the point where it's, there we go. I bought this scrapbook, and oh, it's dusty. I've never used it, but it's got pages that I could potentially use, and you'll see why. And then I've got this is a Malvern Autumn Show Guide from, I don't even know what year, 2019. I think probably my ticket's still in there. So just tickets, and this is a ticket for a gala dinner that I went to. So there's all sorts of sort of memories and bits and pieces in here. And I'm going to make a start on this junk journal. I thought you'd be interested to see the process. So it's going to be a really mindful activity. I'm going to film it for you. and I might talk about it a bit at the end, but I just want to immerse myself in it. So I'm just going to set the camera up where you can see what I'm doing. I have washed my hands, but I'm afraid I've still got gardener's fingernails, but I'm sure you all understand. You're looking at my fingernails, you'll be looking at what I'm doing, hopefully. So I'll push it together a little bit and make a little bit of a speeded up version so you can see the concept of this junk journaling if it's something you haven't heard of before. So I'm just really looking forward to spending a couple of hours mindfully putting this junk journal together ready for use. And it's a really clever concept.
palpable sense of confusion for decades. We shouldn't be mining groundwater to build houses in Arizona, he told me, looking exasperated. We've been trying to get that message out for a long time. Still, this was Arizona's first
So can you see what I'm doing here? I'm going to stop filming now because you can see, I've speeded it up a bit for you, what I will have done when I come to edit. But you can see this is a concertina and I'm making a book. And so I can't take the credit for this. It's inspiration I've seen from other people. And I will also, you know, stick little bits and pieces on this. But this is the main part. And you can obviously put in as many pages as you want to. So I'm going to let the glue dry on this because if I keep going, it's all going to stick together. And then eventually I'll use my other piece of card, which will become the back cover. And that will become my journal. And it'll be quite thick. And then I can open it and start on page 1. What's really exciting about this is I'm focusing on this side as I go. So when I actually turn it around and look at the other side, I'll get something completely different that I didn't expect. And then onto this, I can then journal. So I can write things, stick things, yeah, just journal in the way that I would. But I've got these really funky pages already made up of memories. You know, here there's a photograph of Chris and I at a festival, probably the year after we first met. And there's lots of stuff in here that will, you know, evoke a memory. So I think it's going to be a really lovely way of positively journaling. So it's an art journal, but the concept that I've just found out about and I'm absolutely bowled over by is this junk journaling. And you literally can. I mean, this is a paper bag that I think we had some sweeties in when we were in London. But also in here, these brown envelopes are usually bills or they're from the tax people. But instead of them becoming something negative, I'm using them positively to build up the pages of my journal. So I hope you're finding this inspirational. I'm going to carry on now. I'm going to pop the radio back on and I'm just going to sit and keep making the pages of my journal. I'm going to just leave this out for a little while to dry, and then I can either start at the other end and then stick them together, or I might just go for a little walk with Kaylee while these pages dry and then I can carry on. But it's a lovely mindful activity and I'm really enjoying it, and I hope that you've enjoyed watching. So I'm not sure where in the video I'm going to slot this in, but I promised lots of you that I would keep you updated with my biopsy results. So it's relatively good news. I'm literally in the hospital car park, so I'm not going to beat about the bush with this one. It is highly unlikely to be cancerous, which is such a relief. They don't know what it is at the moment. It is a lymph node, it's a reactive lymph node, and we don't know what it's reacting to. So more tests, more blood tests, another ultrasound scan, possibly an MRI scan. It's not impossible that it could be cancer, but it's unlikely, so less than 10% chance. So I'm going with 90% that it isn't. Obviously, stranger things have happened, but I'm feeling really well. I don't have other symptoms. There's some funny other things going on with my bloods. My thyroid was a bit odd, but not odd enough for it to be that, but it could be. So they're repeating my bloods, and yeah, we're going to take it from there. So more tests, but nothing at this stage to be overly worried about, and I'm massively relieved. It's been quite the journey getting to this point, so I'm probably not going to mention it again unless anybody asks, but obviously if things change or it does become something more sinister, then I would obviously let you all know, because you've all been amazing. So that is where we're at. So I'm off home to go. So I'm going to crank up the tunes on the stereo. Do we still call them stereos? I'm showing my age here. And get myself home. But thank you so much for all of your support. Everybody's been amazing.